Hello, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to talk about specificity in CSS, and let's get started. So if you're familiar with CSS at all, you know that we can use multiple ways to grab HTML elements. So we have a nav bar here with ID nav bar, class cool nav. H1, we have ID title, class blue, blue2, and blue3. And then we have some style here with no style, and then we have some text. So there are a few ways that we can color this text. The first thing we can do is this is an H1. So we can say H1. And we can say color, we can color that red. That's one way. That is using the element here. Next we can use is a class. So we can take one of these classes, blue, and we'll say color, blue. Now we have blue. And we can also do our title here. We can do title, color, say red. And finally, we can do inline CSS here. We have style right here. We can say color, and we can say, let's say orange. We have orange. So those are four ways that we can color this H1 here, this text. Now there are some, because of the specificity in CSS, the more specific you are with your CSS selector, basically the stronger it is. So we have four ways, and the strongest one is inline, and then we have IDs, and then we have class, and then we have element. Okay, so if we color our H1 again with color red, and what we can do here is we can say class blue equals blue here. Even if we put this above here, even if we move it up here, it's still going to be blue because blue is more specific than the H1 is. And if we want even more specific, we can go here and we can say title, and we can say color, and we say, what is this, green? Say green. Now we have green, and then finally we have inline. We can say color orange, just like that. And these are order of the most specific to the least specific. And how this works is it's kind of like a tournament system. If there's inline, that beats everything else. If it's ID, that beats everything besides inline. Class beats anything besides inline ID, and then element is last. You can always also do important here, which is actually the top. Important here. So now we have green. So the ways these are set up is, let's get rid of this orange here style. So we have the title green right now. We're using the ID here. So no matter how many classes this has, the title is still going to win. So we can have blue, can be color blue, even if we have another class on it, blue 2. So color blue, we can do blue 3, color blue. None of that will work because we have one title. If we take this out, that will of course work. Okay, so what if we have more? What if we have a different makeup here? What if we have, let's get rid of this. What if we have a class here called red, and we're going to say blue, color blue. Okay, we should have blue. We have red, color red. Now this is red because this is coming below the blue here. Okay, that's the only reason why it's red. They still both have one class, but because the red is further along in the CSS, it overwrites this blue here. Well, we can also have, what if we have yellow, yellow 2? We can have two here, yellow, i.e. yellow, yellow 2, color, yellow. Now this becomes yellow because this has two classes here. So we have two classes beats the one class, and it beats the one class here. Or we could have our title here again, with using our ID, colored green, and this still beats all of them. It even beats two classes here. We can even do yellow, yellow, and we can say H1. And it still wins because it has a title, or the ID here. So basically we have inline, ID, class, and element. If two selectors have the same number of IDs, then we see, okay, how do they match on classes? So we might have one with one ID, so we might have like ID 1, class 2 will beat ID 1, class 1. So with one ID and two classes will beat one ID and one class. But one ID will beat one ID will beat here. One ID will beat like 100 classes still. It doesn't matter. So inline, ID, class, element. So we have, even this is more specific, yellow, yellow 2, H1, title green. This ID still beats out the more specific one, even though it has more elements here. And that is specificity in CSS.